Manleni benye onile loko. Esiku dede asiko yi. Hello everyone, it's Adirunke again. Today I'd like to tell you what adults, elders, would often say when permission is requested or homage is paid to them before or after saying a proverb. This would make better sense if you've seen the respective video on what to say before or after saying a proverb to an elder or in the presence of an elder, especially to an elder. So the Yoruba culture is much more than the language. I believe I've stated it in certain videos on this channel, or like generally, to people that learning Yoruba, as a whole is much more than just knowing how to say cup or spoon or hair or laughter, and knowing one or two proverbs, similes, metaphors, incantations, and calling it a day. There's a culture to everything. There's a culture. There are certain things that you have to say before you say certain things, and there's in some cases you have to say certain things after, and sometimes certain gestures are expected when you say certain things or do certain things, and when you see certain people. I don't even believe that I've gone too much into specific parts of the culture separately. What I do is when I teach the language, if there's a culture that goes with it, I like to teach it with it. But I don't think I've zeroed on, certain traditions as much as I should. And I will, going forward. But I mentioned it in the respective video that before or after you say a proverb in the presence of, but especially to an elder, certain things have to be said. Certain sentences must always apply. At least that is how it was done in the past. If we are going to maintain tradition, we should at least maintain the ones that are not harmful. The ones that make sense when you really think about why they exist in the first place. You can't really look at it from an European sense, You have to look at the reason why the traditions exist as a Yoruba person, or the reasons why they exist. But anyway, I'll just go straight ahead. Usually when you say a proverb to an elder, you would say, it's in the respective video. I'm just going to mention a couple of things that I stated. You may say, "Ẹ̀yin àgbà náà lẹ máa ń sọ wípé," you elders say. So you don't just state it, It's sort of a way of acknowledging that the elder really is an elder, or like this person that is older than you. Ó ti ṣáájú ẹ mọ mi ayé, that is, the person has experienced earth a bit longer than you have, or like even much longer, and so you have to reverence that before you state proverbs. It's like saying you taught us the proverbs, or it is from your generation that we usually you would say when you say "Ẹ̀yin àgbà náà lẹ máa ń sọ wípé," most of the time the person would have to be older than you, at least 5 years older than you, significant. You can't say that to someone. You can't say "Ẹ̀yin àgbà náà lẹ máa ń sọ wípé" to someone that is like 2 months older than you, or like 1 year older than you. They're not that much older than you. They're not really an elder. I suppose you can say it if you're both seniors, but in that case it won't be necessary since you're both old. Anyway, people just use their discretion for things like this. There's no written law that states that I, commander, ancestor, Ifatumbi, Orun Shekine Kanrumila, hereby dictates that this is how you have to say, so, but people would tend to use their discretion. Usually when you say that, it would be whether in the presence of your older aunt or your father or your mother, or your grandparent, or someone that is old enough to be them, But anyway, let's go straight into what the elders would say in response. So usually when you say "Ẹ̀yin àgbà náà lẹ máa ń sọ wípé," or you say "Ẹ̀yin àgbà bọ̀," a man sọ pé, or tó tún ṣe bí òwe, these are things that you may say. The person may reply by saying, wàá pa òmíràn. They may say, wàá pa òmíràn, or they may say, wàá pa ìmí. That's one of the several ways that they can respond, this being one of the most common. Wàá pa òmíràn, wàá pa ìmí, wàá pòmíràn, wàá pa mí. That is when you combine pa and òmíràn. It will be pòmíràn. When you combine pa and ìmí, pa mí. The first letter of òmíràn and the first letter of ìmí would be removed, of course, if you're combining pa and òmíràn. Pa míràn, pa mí, So, pa is another thing that I've touched on. If you've seen the respective video in which I mentioned that pa is one word that has more than 200 meanings. It's the most versatile, and the research is mine. Okay, I really wouldn't expect anyone to claim it as theirs without, of course, referencing that I said it first. It really took me time to discover that the most versatile of them all in the whole of the Yoruba language is pa. So that's my work. Okay, but really it doesn't matter. I just thought I would say that that's my work. Pa is the most versatile. So this word has 10,000 meanings, really. For verbs, there are like 200 verbs. Really. Some we don't really use anymore. We have newer verbs that we use for them, or we say them differently. But this verb really is the most versatile. Pa. And one of the meanings, and this video that you see really is on verbs. So I mentioned the several meanings that pa could have. One that I mentioned, one of the many, was to tell a tale or fable or a lie. So pa àlọ́ would be to tell a fable, to tell a story. Pa irọ́ would be to tell a lie. Pa could also be used for when one is saying something that is not literal. When one is saying something that is not literal or like straightforward, pa could also be the verb. So if you want to say tell proverb, or told proverb, depending on the context, it would be pa òwe. Òwe is proverb. Òwe is proverb. Òwe. And of course, because we Yoruba people like to combine words when we speak, and of course that reflects in the way that we write, it would be bowe, pa, òwe, pa, òwe. Pa is to tell, but more specific to telling something that is not literal, that is not true. Sometimes even that is a fable. Not to infer that if something is not literal, it must mean that it is not true. No, but this is just the verb that we would use for when something is not literal or when something is not true, not inferring that one always applies when the other does. Pa òwe is tell proverb. So if you say mo pa òwe, if you see my video on pronouns, especially pronouns when they're within a sentence, you would be quite familiar with this, with the pronouns here. Mo pa òwe, I told a proverb. O pa òwe, you told a proverb. O pòwe, you could say mo pòwe, you could say o pòwe, whatever you like to say. You told a proverb, and I'll tell you the difference between the plural you and the singular you. O pa òwe, he or she told a proverb. Mo pa òwe, I told a proverb. O pa òwe, you told a proverb. O pa òwe, he or she told a proverb. A pa òwe, we told a proverb. A pa òwe, we told a proverb. E pa òwe, you told a proverb. The you here is plural. E pa òwe, you told a proverb. Wọ́n pa òwe, they told a proverb. Wọ́n pa òwe, they told a proverb. Ó pa òwe, or opowe, and epa owe, epowe. But you told a proverb, one singular, one plural. I'll tell you the difference though, because typically in English, if one is singular, it must be, one person, irrespective of their ages. And if the other is plural, it must be multiple, two or more people, irrespective of their ages. But it doesn't work like that, within the Yoruba context. Or when you are addressing a person and you say, oh, you, it's used when addressing someone that is younger than you or the same age as you. Otide, you have arrived. T is have, day is arrive. Otide, you have arrived. If you say that, you must be talking to someone that is your age mate or someone that is younger than you. Same as opa owe. If you're saying that to somebody, it must be one person, just one person that is the same age as you or younger than you. But if you say epa owe, or etide, you have the plural you anyway. It's used when one is addressing one person that is older than one, or two or more persons of any age. One person that is older than one, or two or more persons of any age. So it could be a child and an adult. It could be two children. It could be one child, one adult. It could be two adults. Whatever the case may be, as long as there are two people, you can say But if there's just one person present and you see that they're older than you, not the same age as you, but older than you, you say as opposed to o. If you say wa pa omiran or wa pa imi, wa is you will, wa is you will, wa is you will, pa is tell, or state, but it's restricted to something that isn't literal or a lie or a fable. Just the way I explained it in the pa video. You might want to check that out. Wa is you will, pa is tell, omiro or imi. Imi is like contraction of omiro, imi, omiro. It's the same thing. Is another one. Wa pa omiro. Wa pa imi. You will tell another one. So what that means is, you stated the proverb before an elder. They want to respond to you or acknowledge that you've acknowledged them. They want to acknowledge that you've paid homage to them. They're saying you will tell another one. It's the idea behind that is you will live long enough to tell another one. It's like proclaiming life into you, somewhat indirectly. It's like, okay, because you've acknowledged, my presence as an older person, because really that's what you're doing when you say or it's like saying you elders teach us this. You elders encourage us to know these pieces of wisdom, in the form of Proverbs. So you're acknowledging them. And so when they say wakpa or miro, wakpa me, you will tell another one. It's like saying you've acknowledged me as an elder or someone that is old enough to birth you or to be your older aunt or uncle. Therefore, you will tell another one. You will live long enough to tell another one. Wakpa umiro, wakpa imi. I feel like the proclaiming life part, though, is not as literal. It's not a literal statement itself, but I feel like the proclaiming life part is sort of an undertone, sort of a spiritual aspect. The meaning that it has is you will acquire more wisdom. You will tell another one. It's like you will live long enough and stay wise enough to tell another one. And it's not a literal statement like I stated earlier. You might be thinking, why why can't the elder just say, and this you'll hear from an elder, okay? If you're a child like me, I'll be a child forever. If you're a child or you are in your teens or something, I doubt that you're going to be saying "wakpa" or "miran," "wakpa" me to anybody, really, because instead people will say that to you when you've stated a proverb to a person that is older than you. So it's for the younger people, it's more of something that you will hear as opposed to something that you will say. But I just want you to be familiar with it so that you don't say "totu shebi before an elder and they say "wakpa miran," and you go, I've never heard that before. Just to make you more familiar with that. If you're over 50 or something, and you have Yoruba people around you who especially reference Proverbs to you, then you've probably stated it. Or maybe it's time for you to start saying it after they use a proverb in your presence, after they pay homage to you. And many elders, even if you don't say "Eyin agba bo" or "Eyin agba man so wípé" before, like they don't think that they're going to get mad or anything. They will say "wakpa" or "miran," even if you've not said "Eyin agba," they will say that, it's just a thing that they say. And that's how many elders remind you that you didn't pay homage before you stated the proverb. They will say "wakpa" or "miran," and then you say "Emma binu eyin agba bo." No, that would be before. If you're saying it after, perhaps you forgot, and they say "wakpa" or "miran," "wakpa" me, you may quickly then say "Emma binu totu shebi owe." I explained it in the respective video, so you will learn that. But what it really means is you will tell another one. You will tell another. You will live long enough, which is an undertone, but more importantly, you will gain wisdom. You will gain more wisdom. If you gain more wisdom, you will be able to cite more proverbs, I suppose. So they may not. It's not a literal statement. It's not "oko mi carry oko mi aneku ogbon aneku oye aneku imo," more wisdom, more knowledge, more understanding. No, it's not. It's the Yoruba people can say one thing. I was telling one of my students recently, Yoruba people can say one thing and it mean 10 things, so that's just the culture. So they are proclaiming life, they're proclaiming wisdom. At least those are the two major things that an elder is proclaiming to you when they say "wakpa" or "miran." If you don't live long enough, you can't tell another one. If you don't stay wise enough, you can't tell another one. And they may say "wari or miran pa," "wari or miran pa," "wari or miran pa," or "wari mi pa," "wari mi pa," "wari mi pa," "wari or miran pa," "wari imi pa." I encourage I don't know if I think I published it in my community tab, that if you have a little bit of trouble retaining what I teach, it's probably because you've not been pronouncing with me. You've just been listening to me. It's not podcasts. Try as much as possible to pronounce after me. Wari o miran pa. Wari o miran pa. Wari imi pa. Wari imi pa. Wari o miran pa. Wari o miran pa. Wari imi pa. Wari imi pa. Wa is you will. Ri is see or find. In and of itself, it's see, but of course that's also find. If you look at it some way. So see and find are both ri. Omira or imi would be another one. Ba is to tell. So when you combine these words, it would be you will find another one to tell. That's what the transliteration would look like. You will find another one to tell. Which is also you will tell another one. Again, the meaning that it has is pretty similar to wakpa, omiro, you will find another one to tell. It's like you will stay wise enough to remember another one and use another one, whether your statement with me or someone else, in your discussion with me or someone else. You will stay wise enough to tell another one. You will live long enough to tell another one. When you find another one, it probably means that you have gained more wisdom, but really that you have stayed wise. That you have stayed wise, one, and that you have gained more wisdom, two. That's the only reason that you will find another one in your in your memory, in your brain archives. So you will tell another one. You'll find another one to tell. You will tell another one. You stay wise. You stay alive to tell another one. You may also say, "O ma pa òmíràn," or "ẹ máa pa òmíràn." And of course, I've told you the difference between both. Or for someone that is younger than you, or your age mate, for someone that is older than you, or two or more persons of any age. One person that is older than you, or two or more persons of any age, would be one person that is younger than you, or one person that is your age mate, would be o. O máa pa òmíràn. O máa pa òmíràn. O máa pa ìmí. You will tell another one. You will tell another one. It's just like pretty much the same idea. Why? It's just it's a dialect. It's the general Yoruba. So it's the same as o máa pa òmíràn, ẹ máa pa òmíràn, ẹ máa pa mí, o máa pa mí. O máa pa òmíràn, o máa pa ìmí, ẹ máa pa ìmí. You will tell another one. That it's just that o ma, those are separate. But when you say wa, you're inferring you will, at once. Wa, you will. So there are different dialects. Let's assume that you want to say it in a different dialect. You could even say o pa òmíràn, o pa ìmí, or ẹ ó pa òmíràn, ẹ ó pa ìmí. You could say o pa Why am I telling you all this? I just don't want you to be thrown off. If you go to Nigeria, especially where this tradition is kept like that, before you say, actually not just Nigeria, there are Yoruba people all across the world that still keep this tradition. I just don't want you to be thrown off when you don't hear wa or oma, I just want you to be aware that there are different ways of saying the exact same thing. There are different dialects. I've not even gotten to dialects yet. The Yoruba that I teach is the general Yoruba. You may also hear o pa òmíràn, ẹ pa òmíràn. Oh yeah, what's the difference? Because an adult, of course, if they're acknowledging you, they won't use for you if you're just one person, since you will be younger than them, so they would use o, just the way that I explained. So in what case would they say Maybe two of you grandkids said the same proverb at the same time or something. It's just more than one person anyway. There are a couple of you there, so she might just be acknowledging all of you and the proverb that one has stated and the other has reiterated, or whatever the case may be. You may hear o pa òmíràn, ẹ pa òmíràn, o pa ìmí, ẹ pa ìmí, o pa mìíràn, ẹ pa mìíràn. It's the same thing. If it is o, it's another dialect again. If it is o, the will be o. If it is the will be e. Even in the past, in the olden days, you typically just speak your own dialect, except you really need to. Even as a Yoruba person within Nigeria, you don't learn all the dialects. Like, you will go completely, you learn Egun, you learn Ekiti, you learn Igbajo, you learn no, you learn Ìsẹ́yìn, you learn Ìbàdàn, no, you don't do that. So these are just a couple of dialects in which you might hear different. Why am I teaching you dialects? I want to going forward, just introduce you to dialects, but like not really focus too much on it, so that so that you don't go completely mad and upset at me. Just, just show you what it would look like, in different dialects, just so that you're familiar with the different ways of saying the exact same thing. I'll just leave it at that. At this point, I won't tell you how to say it in Egun or how to say it in Ijebu, or just take it that these are very common ways of seeing it used. You may hear a prayer instead. Like, apart from wakpa me, which is kind of like a prayer, you may hear wadagba. Wada agba is what is combined as wadagba. Wada agba. You will, da is become, agba is old. You will become old, or you will grow old. It's like saying, again, it's the same idea. You're acknowledging that I'm older than you, and you're acknowledging the level of wisdom that I have. It's like namaste, right? It's like namaste. Just remembered something in line with that. It's not exactly like namaste. Again, in my mind, because I study different philosophies, I try to connect it in my brain, which I probably shouldn't. It might make some people mad that I'm referring to other cultures or whatever, but don't be mad. It's just something I like to do. It's like, you recognize the old in me. I recognize the wisdom in you to have recognized the old in me, the wisdom in me, the experience in me, the age of me. So wadagba is you will grow old. Sometimes if you say ẹ̀yin àgbà náà lẹ máa ń sọ wípé, or ẹ̀yin àgbà bọ̀, or tó tún ṣe bí òwe. If you watch the video, you understand all that I'm saying better. They will respond many times with a prayer. The Yoruba prayer, I've told you in the Ashe video and in subsequent videos, even in my last video on Egungun, Egualare rather, that the Yoruba prayer can literally just even be, prayers are so, because we use our Ashe and we don't necessarily beg while we pray, there's not a lot of begging usually, all things being equal, when you want to pray, as opposed to like in other religions where you say, oh please God, do this and do that. We like to manifest. So when you make the statement, it's sort of like a positive wish making. And it would be the same way if you're cursing, it would just be a statement. If you're praying, it would just be a statement, but you're manifesting that. You're using your own ashe as an older person, especially with gray hair, a worry, especially older, especially if you're significantly older than the person that has said the proverb. You're using the ashe on your head, the ashe manifesting as the old age ashe, which is a different kind of ashe, or it's a higher kind of ashe, and there are different things that we will tap into when we want to make a wish. For mothers, if a mother wants to pray for a child, for example, again, this is teaching you the culture. She may grab her breast, she may grab a tummy, a stomach, she may I think those are the two common ones. She may grab her head, she may touch her navel, a belly button, because that's another spiritual PowerPoint. She may put her hand in a belly button to pray for. It's like we like to tap into something as sources of our share, saying, because I'm your mother, especially when they grab the breast, especially if they did breastfeed you, or they've breastfed somebody, if they are praying for children in general, or they touched your navel, the umbilical cord and all that. They are saying that because they've birthed you, or because they are this person, because they're in this position, this will come to pass. So if an older person prays for you and they touch the gray hair on their head, they just rub their head briefly and pray for you and put that hand on your head. Oh my goodness, that's a very powerful thing. That's an extremely powerful thing that they've done. whether or not they do it, okay, if they say wa dagba, if they say wa, you will grow old, they are stating that, they're using their share to proclaim that you will grow old. It's not until they say, oh, let's close our eyes, our Father in heaven, or they or they just make a whole drama out of it. Oh, please let him live whole. It's not until we do that it becomes a prayer. They just offer the statement, many times even emphatically, and it's a wish, it's a prayer for you. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Apart from wa dagba, they could say wa shorire, you will be successful, or they could say Eledumare ake. They're just different ways of praying, but the generic answer would usually be the wa pa mi, wa ri mi pa, o pa miran, e pa miran, o pa omiran, e pa, kind of thing. They may offer prayers. Just be aware of that as opposed to wakpa, they may just give you a prayer straight away. Wakpa mira is a prayer, is a wish in and of itself. They are using their ashe, to state, to proclaim to your own ashe anyway, to your own being anyway, not ashe in this case. They're using their ashe to proclaim to your ori, that, many times, a lot of things that we do on earth also significantly impact what our destinies are. Sometimes destinies can be adjusted if certain things are done, or if certain karmic lessons are learned quicker with the help of a guide or something. It's a whole phenomenon that I don't want to go into because that's another 30 minutes. But they are using their share to proclaim to your ori that, to proclaim life, long life to your ori. So that's exactly how it works. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to book one-on-one lessons with me, please don't hesitate to do so. Please like and share and comment. Okay, let me know what you think about it. If there's a similarity with your own culture, if you're not a Yoruba person or you have a story to tell in that regard, it would be nice to read your comments. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. When you do so, please turn on the post notifications just so you are aware each time I post a video. I don't post videos every day or anything, so it won't drive you crazy. It's just so that you're aware that a new video has come up and you don't have to keep checking my channel. Oh, she made a video, And thank you so much for your support, especially within the past 2 weeks. Thank you so much. Thank you to all my students who have booked one-on-one lessons with me. I forgot to mention that earlier. Thanks to all my patrons and all my PayPal supporters. I love you so much. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day and goodbye.